Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Conversations with Carolyn. Hey, this is Chance of a Lifetime Coaching. Hey, I want you to share with someone. I want you to tag someone. I want you to join the conversation tonight. Join the conversation on tonight. This is India. I read coulda, woulda, shoulda. We're about that place now. We're about that time. No more thinking about what coulda, shoulda, woulda. Let's walk in your power today. Tag someone. Let someone know we are on the air. Yes, we are. We are talking tonight, and we're going to be talking to who are we? Who are we really? What's really going on? Tag somebody. All right. Thanks, moderate. I want to make sure I trust that I'm pronouncing your name right. Madria. I'm glad that you're here. Speed up, speed up. Hey, let's make that on tonight. I love India. Yes, she's so authentic. So authentic. So I want you to go on and tag someone. Tag someone. Let someone know that we are here. We are on the air tonight. We're going to have a brief conversation tonight. We're going to talk about who we are, where we're really going in the light of everything around us. All right, tag somebody. We're going to be tuning in, chiming in just a little bit. We're on Facebook. We are on YouTube. All right. Let's walk in our power on tonight. Hey, Demetrius niece. Glad you're out there. Glad you're watching on tonight. Tag somebody. Share with someone. Let them know it's a great conversation. And I want you to be able to tune in. I want your thoughts. Yeah. I do believe too. I do believe India Irie. That was India Irie. I do not own the copyright to that. That's India Irie. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. And a lot of times we spend a whole lot of time thinking about that coulda, shoulda, woulda. And we want to be in a much better place. I know about that. So I'm so glad that you are here on tonight. And once again, if you haven't already, take a moment and share with someone. Let them know that we are on the air tonight and we got a lot going. Hey, sis. Hey, Pat. Glad you're watching with us on tonight. Glad you're here. And you are my beautiful sis as well. Yes. Share with someone, tag somebody tonight. We're going to have a brief conversation tonight. We're getting real tonight. We got a lot of real stuff going on. So we want to be real about who we really are and where are we really going. And when we think about that, who are we? Who are we really? When you really think about that, who are we? So once again, tag somebody, share this with someone. Hey, Vivian, glad you're out there. Glad you're watching. I tell you, it means so much to have all my good people visiting and sharing with me on tonight. And once again, feel free to share and tag. And I want you to feel free to post some comments. Let me know what you're thinking as we go through this conversation. Right. As we go through this conversation, I want to know what's pumping in that heart of yours. What's spinning in that head of yours, because we all have a lot to say. And I think for far too long, we've spent a whole lot of time holding in who and what we value the most. What we value the most, and how it is that we're able to actually put those pieces together, have that balance of purpose and intention, that balance of existing and living. How do you create that balance in your life today? And so thanks, Vivian. Thanks. I'm glad that you are here and you are listening. I want to say that tonight, what sparked my conversation on tonight it's probably what has sparked so many of us over the last week or so, and looking at how it is that on the first day of the so-called Black History Month is the actual funeral of the horrific, devastating murder of one of our melanin men by melanin men and others, but the majority of them were Black. You probably didn't see the few white people that were actually arrested because they concentrated a lot on the men of melanin color. I don't advocate what was happening, how it happened, and I just want to put that out there. But I'm also saying how it is that we are in an era where we have lost the value of who we really are. And when you tonight, as you hear that, who are we? Who are you? Who are you? I know I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm a sister, I am a friend, I am a confidant, I am a life strategist, I am a talker. I love to talk. Yes, I do. I love to talk, but I like to be meaningful when I talk. I like to be impactful when I talk. But who are you? At the end of the day, I'm all of these adjectives. I'm all of the nouns. But what about the position that you find yourself in? Who are you? Are you proud about who you are? Are you proud about the way that you walk? Are you proud of the place that you're in right now, whether it's your headspace, whether it's your social space, whether it's your relationship space? Where are you right now, and how do you feel about yourself? And one thing about it that we realize that who we are is not who everyone has told us we are. Who we are and who you are is utterly far more valuable than who you've been told that you are, who you've been marked you are. And one thing I do want to say is that we spend a lot of time identifying ourselves as I'm Black, I'm white, I'm African American, I am biracial, I am multiracial. Who are you tonight? How would you consider yourself? Who are you? When you take a moment and think about that, who are you? Are you Black? Are you Asiatic? Are you African American? Are you white? Are you Hispanic? Who are you? How do you identify yourself? And being the first day of February, commencing into the Black History Month, which I am Black History, and I celebrate Black History 365 days in a year. Yes, I do. I do, and I proudly say how it is I feel good about being in the headspace that I'm in and resonating with who I am. But in my research, and this is what I value you to do in your research, I have contributors that from it's Ebony O'Neill, and she does a piece on nationalism and identity. And for years and years and years, we even have it on our applications, on kinds of documents form that we have Black as a race. Well, as you research and do more, Black is not a race. Black is the attribute that was given to you. Asiatic people is who we are because before the seven continents were even formed, all of Asia is where we came from. Asia is where we roam. Asia was Asia before Africa was Asia. So a lot of that happens to end up with an attribute of what they gave us. They gave us and said, okay, you're black, you're African American, you're African American. And if you would talk to an African or a person that was not born in the United States, that moved here, relocated here, and if you would speak with one of those and if you ask them, do you consider yourself black or whatever, most of them will tell you that they don't even identify by race. They don't identify by black. They don't identify by ethnicity. They identify each other by nationality or by tribes. So it's when, if you were to meet somebody from Ghana or what, and they say, where are you from? Or they would ask, what tribe are you from? If they were in their homeland, they would ask, what tribe are you from? What nationality are you from? And it would correlate with who and identify with who you are. And in America, the United States, what they do, they identify your race, your socialism, your socioeconomic level. They identify you by your fraternal and sorority organizations. They identify you by your church affiliations. And all of these different innuendos causes a distraction and a divide because it goes into a mode of competition. And one group or entity feel like they're more than others, even in the religious cults, in the religious dynamics. You have me feel like if you're not a Jehovah's Witness, you're going to hell. You're not Church of God in Christ, you're going to hell. If you're not Anglo-Saxon, you're going to hell. All of these different religions, yet all these different people, but we don't believe your particular doctrine. Well, that's where I have a great concern with that. And one of the biggest misconceptions was the myth of Black people in the Bible. There was the greatest misconception, which I believe is one of the founding factors, that people disregard the value of people of melanin hue, people that are dark-skinned and colored, and they call Black. The legacy of lies was in the book of Genesis. And if you're in the Bible, if you were to look in the Bible under Genesis, that 9th chapter, around that 20th verse, 2022, it's where Noah becomes drunk, right? Noah becomes drunk with wine and he's disrobed, and his 3 sons come in, Ham, Shem, and Japheth. They come in, and Ham is the one who watches and sees Noah and his nakedness. Well, he kind of encouraged them to look at that. He's whatever they called him or whatever. Look at him. He's drunk. He's naked. Look at him. But the other two, they did not. They were afraid because the nakedness was a sacred thing. And so when it was that Ham looked at Noah in his nakedness, and all of it came to fruition, it came to light. And so it was said in the Bible that God was displeased and said, because of Ham's erratic behavior, then his descendant, it wasn't the descendants of Ham, it was that descendant which ended up being Canaan, his son Canaan. And then you read about the Canaanites and all of that. That was the actual set of people that were being cursed, not the rest of the Black generation, not the rest of the people. One of the most interesting things happened to me when I was going to Bible college. And once again, feel free, post something, post how you're feeling as this conversation is going on about who do you feel that you are? Do you have questions about who you are? And do you have questions about how you really got here? How did we end up being this type of people? So once again, we're going to the fact that in my Bible college, when I was going to Bible school, and one of my said in the lecture that Black people will never go to heaven because of the curse of Ham. So me being one of the two Black people in the class, and the only female, a classroom of about 20, 25 people. One other Black male was in the class with us, but that concerned me and it bothered me. And even the male that was there, he was a pastor in the area. But I was like, do you hear this? What's going on? Do you not hear this? Does that not do anything to you? And his thing to me, well, I'm just listening. I'm going to research later. But I challenged my professor at that moment. Okay, you're saying because of the curse of Ham that we as Black people will never go to heaven. And so here we are spending all the money, our time, our cries, our prayers, our woes to a God that will never receive us. I said, here it is that I'm spending all my money in this institution, let alone to learn that I'm not getting anywhere. I'm just twiddling my thumbs. And then there's a room full of my counterparts, my European counterparts that are listening, that will go and teach this to their congregants. And God knows how many other European, Anglo-Saxon, evangelical theologians have taught this same rhetoric to their congregations. So what does that do? To me, what that does is says that if the Bible, if the Bible says that they won't go to heaven, then they're useless. They're no good. We don't have to treat them good. That's how slavery became so intrinsic, because when they began to get this message that Black people were not, or the descendants of Ham were not going to heaven, may as well put them in slavery. And that's where you begin to see slavery introduced into the Bible. Not only introduced into the Bible, remember when they would only allow slaves to read what? The Bible and certain passages of the Bible. And those passages were passages about being submissive to your masters. Well, all of that was a play on lives. It was a play on lies. It was a play on lives, a play on lies and lives. I want you to hear me loud and clear. That was a play on lies and lives. What that did, who we really are, remember, we are not who everybody say that we are. We are not who they have stereotyped us into being. We are not who they brainwashed and programmed us to be. That's why I encourage each and every one of you today, the first day of this Black History Month, which we celebrate Black History 365 days. Today, I admonish you, I challenge you to be intentional about the realization of who am I? Who am I really? What can I really do? And my professor, I asked him to show me in the Bible where it is that Black people will not go to heaven if simply because of the curse of Ham. He could not show that to me in the Bible. We had a real go at it. He put me out of class, long story short, but I didn't get an answer from him. I didn't get an answer from the dean of students at that time, because I wanted an answer. I wanted them to show me in black and white. I wanted them to show me in this Bible that I was going to school, I was going to theology. I wanted to teach people right, but that was something I couldn't teach my people because it didn't resonate with me. It didn't stand tall and clear with me, and I could not. It's like you can't say amen to something you can't witness to. I couldn't witness to that, so I couldn't say amen. Hey, Majay, I'm glad that you're here, sweetheart. I'm glad you're feeling well. Glad you're feeling well. And we're talking about being, who are we? Who are we and where are we really going? As melanin people, do you feel your value value? Do you feel your worth? Because most importantly, your value supersedes what everybody else has said that your value is. Going back to slavery, your value was much more than slavery. Your value was in building up the country. Your value was in turning over resources time and time again. Our value was in creating a sustained environment. It was very, very complementary. It wasn't one that was isolated and barbaric. No, we've always been an intelligent being. We've always been very foresightful in making things work. We've been innovative. And I've said this all and all again, as melanin people, we are quite innovative. We make things happen with the little. We make things happen with the minimal amount of resources, but we do it because God has equipped us with that in our own DNA. So who are you? Like I said, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother, I'm a sister, I'm many things. The most important thing is that I am. The most important thing is that I am. I am above everything that has ever been given, subscribed down to me. It goes back to the horrible incident with Tyree Nichols, and we are definitely taking a moment of silence for Tyree right now. Only can imagining now how he must have felt if he's read anything about how the slaves were treated, how they were sold like cattle, and how they lost their language, lost even their names. Can you imagine Tyree at this point of his life being beaten, and he's seeing people that look just like him? He's seeing the anger, he's feeling the brutality, he's seeing this. And can you imagine that he could liken unto himself as a slave? But what had was he was a slave to the criminology mindset of who those officers had become brainwashed into being. They no longer had a care about our sisterhood, our brotherhood, about our hood. It became a power struggle. It became, to me, it appears that this particular group of men took this advantage of taking the power to demoralize the innocence of a man. I don't care what traffic stop, whatever criminal act. I don't see where he was aiming a gun. I don't see where he had things coming against. I don't see all that on the tapes. And I'm wondering, and chime in with me tonight. Post in the chat. How did that make you feel? Did that make you feel like we were finally getting together and moving along? How did that make you feel? Because for me, it didn't make me feel like we were getting together and moving along. To me, it didn't make me feel like I was so proud we had Black police officers. Black police officers mean nothing if they are not going to uphold the integrity of humanity. Black, white, blue, or green, whatever your color is, whatever the color of a person's skin is, should not demote them to murder. It should not demote them to not even being cared about. That if a taser couldn't do it, a bullet didn't have to do it, or whatever. The beating didn't have to do it. Not the bullet, pardon me. The beating. Why? And when you find out bits and more pieces, and you find out that it was allegedly over a woman, over the ex, and Tyree Nichols was involved in the relationship with the ex of one of the main initiators, that was not enough to warrant murder. It was not enough to warrant. And I'm just thinking, and I'm hoping, and I'm giving a little bit of room here. And I'm just hoping that these men did not mean to kill or murder Mr. Tiny Nichols. I really hope that it was more of an intent to scare him or teach him a lesson, so to speak, quote unquote. But that goes up to show we never know what happens when we move and act out of evil. When we move and act out of evil, we know not what the outcome is going to be. It's hard for us to know what the outcome is going to be when we do something good. You do good and you follow the law, you follow the what you need to be doing or whatever, and you still get crossed up. But in this situation, I'm talking about, I really hope that those men really did not intentionally mean to murder him, just wanted to teach him a lesson, but it went too far. It went wrong. Why in the world would you beat another human being? We're already having the atrocity of having to deal with racial divide. We're already having to deal with these social injustices, because we do know that our skin color gives us so much divide. There is so much disparity between who we are as melanin people and what rights and resources receive as melanin people in opposition to European and others. And I'm saying that simply because I cannot imagine why we in 2023 are still being brainwashed, still being bamboozled into being crabs in a bucket. We in 2023, we as melanin people are still talking about each other behind each other's back, holding each other down, won't be there to support one another. We'd rather go out and support everybody else but support your melanin people. Why in 2023 are we still not learning the importance of bridging together, staying together by any means necessary? Do you think that Malcolm X said by any means necessary just as a whittle of a thumb or a roll at the top of his lips? No, by any means necessary was very, very intentional, because we have so much going against us since the 400 years before that we still trying to crawl up out that well, just like that old goat. You know the story about the old goat that fell in the well, walked away, grazed, moved away from the master and the rest of the sheep of the goat herd, because he was eating on that green grass. And that grass was so good, not watching where he's going, but eating on that green grass, And I can only imagine that sometimes we as people get so consumed chasing after the green. We get so consumed, I got to get that bag. By any means necessary, you got it twisted. Getting the bag does not mean you take out any one of your people. It does not mean you treat your people less because they may not have as much as you have. They may not see the light as you see your light. They may not have made it to where you think they should have pulled themselves up by the bootstrap. Whatever the dynamics of the lie that has been given to us, it's 2023. 2023. Who are you as a melanin people? Where are you really going as melanin people if you're not going to stand on the toes of justice and do what's right by being who you are, by being Black and treating everybody with humanity? I don't care what the situation could have been. I don't agree with what those men did. And as I said, you saw all the Black men that were responsible, paraded on the media channels, paraded before you. But you got one or two snapshots of the white man, the white officer that did the tasing, one or two snapshots of the white paramedic that was involved. Once again, I'm not advocating and saying that what those men did was right and they shouldn't have done it. No. But at the same time, if you're going to plaster the black men's up there, put the white man up there too. If you're going to plaster, they eventually brought the paramedics on. But all you see is the dynamics of all this going on, black on black. We've been having black on black crime for so long. When will you get it? Hey, L'Oreal. Hey, Tracy. When will you get it that black on black is not the formula for melanin rising? Black on black is not the formula for melanin rising. And if you think you're going to get somewhere that allying with the others, I don't care how much money you get, I don't care how much fame you get, I don't care where your zip code might change, I don't care what you may drive, you always be melanin. Always be melanin. And it's always something about it. I don't know if many of you feel like I do. Drop it in the chat. Come on, comment. Talk to me in the chat. Talk to me in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking tonight, because this is a conversation that I think is real important. I don't think we consciously think about every day, who am I really? What's really going on? Where are we really going? What can I do to contribute to making sure that we change the mindset of how we behave? How many times in the day have you thought about, what can I do to change the dynamics? And many people may think, well, Carolyn get on every Wednesday, she'd be talking about, well, this is my change. This is what I choose to do to see what I can do to change the dynamics. And if I can do this to make you change the way you think outside of the box. Think outside of where you are. Think outside of what you can do. And remember, you are not who they have ascribed you to be. You are not who they have stereotyped you to be. You are not who they have systemically regulated you to be. Put you in a certain area. Well, it used to be red coding and all this. It used to be where you couldn't live in a certain area because you were melanin, or because you couldn't have this job because you were melanin. You couldn't have this. We have come such a long way. However, we have so much longer to go. It is February 1, 2023, the beginning of a new month, the beginning of a new Black History Month. Every day this month, you make it intentional to do something to show how valuable you and people are. Once again, get some research. Like I said, I was able to do some research, and like I said, it's Ebony Boonzeel. She's the one who talks about nationalism and the identity of who we are as the Asiatic Black man. If you search long enough, when you get into the research, you'll realize that Black is more. It's not a race. Black was ascribed to us. It was given to us, and we are by definition Asiatic people through the more being Moors, through the Moabites. And the Moors, that's a whole nother session. And I do some individual sessions on that. But the Moors, they were more about encouraging Black people how to adopt who they are outside of the ethnicized view of their identity that was stigmatized by racial characterizations. All in a nutshell, they were encouraging people to stand on being who we are. Thank you. Stand on being who being who you are. We are Moors, and be proud to be Moors. And one thing about it is, as we move about and as we begin to establish being comfortable in who we are, we can move with dignity. We can move with accountability. We can move with no fear. Have you ever been in a place where you wanted to do something and you like, I want to say this, out against this, oh, but if I do, they're going to take my job. Oh, if they do, if they take my job, then where I'm going to live. If they take where I'm going to live, then how am I going to do? There's so many areas that are barriers as to how far we can go, what we can do. You know, all of that. Hey, baby, David, I'm glad you're watching. But, you know, there's so many dynamics as to who we are and how far we can go. So if we can really get into our mind about researching, about studying us, finding out who we really are, and you may be okay. You may be okay. If you're one of those that's okay with accepting and knowing and going about and like, okay, this is what I learned. This is who I know. I've been my life. And there's nothing wrong with that. Nothing. But for those who had questions like myself, I've had questions all my life about this, that, and the other. And the more I begin to read, the more I begin to learn, I'm like, wow, I see why that didn't make sense. Or I see now why that didn't make sense. And the bottom line is, Mother Tanet Muhammad, she's another one. And she did a piece about why Blacks and Indians are identified as the original Asiatic people. So that's somebody else, Mother Tanet Muhammad. So increase your reading materials, increase your time on discovering who you want to be. See, there's something in who you are and who do you want to be. Who are you and where are you really going? Okay, where are you really going with all of this? So I'm glad to kind of talk about being in the moment of embracing who we are. You know, being in a moment of embracing what we really can contribute to this world. We are at a point now to where truly make something happen. It's time for us to be unapologetic, unafraid, most of all, intentional. What are you being intentional about who you are? How are you being intentional about where you're going? I can no longer be enslaved by fear. You know, there's so much I can go on and on and on, but my time is growing near, and I just really want you all to be able to be feeling good about who you are. Lisa Hicks Gilbert, who won the mayor for Elaine. I don't think as much coverage has been given her as I believe received. She's the first Black female mayor for the city of Elaine, Arkansas. And many of you know, if you don't know, Elaine, Arkansas has become historical for the Elaine Massacre riot that killed many Black people and killed white people too, at a time that Black people said no more. At a time when Black people said, I am no longer afraid. At a time that Black people says, I am unapologetic about who I am, what I choose to do, and how I choose to do it. And I think once we begin to rise above and rise up to who we really were born to be, our divine purpose is not to be enslaved. Our divine purpose is not to be afraid. Our divine purpose is not to be intimidated any longer. And it starts in your home with you. It starts in your home with your family. You have a family and you're at odds with your family. You can't stand your brother. You can't talk to your sister. You don't like your children, like auntie, your granddaddy too nosy, your grandmama this. If that describes any of you, and you know what? If I fall in that category too. We gotta get some checking about ourselves. We got to get some accountability about ourselves. How do we saving our families so that we can save our people. And it starts with us in our own home, in our own family. So that means family. Let's get these immediate families together. Teach our history in our homes. They're already the Florida, not wanting elements in the college. Critical race theory. Of course, Texas is one of them. They spent so much time keeping history from us, keeping us. We didn't want us to read. Now that we can read, they don't want us to read how atrocious they treated not only us as melanin people, but scores of people. Scores of people. So at that time, we need to stay. At the time that Elaine was a place of total mess, but now we have the first Black female mayor. I'm not sure if she's the first Black mayor. I believe she's the first Black mayor, but I do know she's the first Black female mayor of Elaine, Arkansas. I think she needs more coverage. I think she needs more resources, more support, and we're just going to be sending liftings for that. The young man that became we're moving, we're doing things, and they're not the only ones. There's many of you in your very homes right now. You're for some great thing that you've done, some great challenge that you've overcome, some great philosophy, some great. So who are you? Are you? And how do you stand today? How tall do you stand today that you yourself made it to be to this far in your life? Who would have ever thought that you are where you are today? Somebody drop in the chat tonight. Drop in the chat tonight. How do you feel? Who are you before we get out of here tonight? Who are you? Drop in the chat. Who are you? Drop in the chat. Where are you going? What do you want to say? I want in the chat. Well, drop in the chat tonight. How did it make you feel if you've had the opportunity to see the actual footage of Harry Nichols being beaten? I must admit, I have not had the opportunity to see the full foot. I couldn't do it. I saw it in bits and pieces, and what I did see, I didn't like it. Not at all. What I did see, it made my stomach. I didn't like it. So I say to you today, I need you to identify. Who are you? Where are you going? Who will you take with you? How will you change your family dynamics as of today? How will you do that? How would you change the dynamics of who you are? Tell me. I need somebody to write it in the chat. Let me see what's in the chat. Let me see what's in the chat. Let me see what's in the chat. And hey, sis, big sis Shirley, I see you out there. So yeah, y'all, I just want y'all to drop in the chat. I need to hear from you. Chime in on this conversation. What are your thoughts on tonight? What are your thoughts on tonight? Where are you going? You've heard me ramble. You've heard me rant. Yeah, you've heard me rant. And, I have to, once again, be intentional with my words. One thing about it is, I said it earlier, we have to be accountable for who we are, what we say, how we say it, because everybody have their eyes on us. Yes, they do. Everybody have their eyes on us. And when you realize that it's not about what anybody else think about you, it's about what you think about yourself. You are worth taking care of yourself. Celebrate yourself. Move forward today knowing that fresh start of you being able to do something totally extraordinary. Extraordinary things coming out of ordinary people. And you're one of those. Yes, you are. You are one of those. All right, all right, all right. It's about time for me to get out of here. Just checking, just checking. I wanted to hear some feedback from you all out there. I wanted you to kind of tell me what you were feeling. How are you feeling? What you're going through. Um, I just kind of wanted to know how you were feeling. And I just want to share something with you real quick before I get out of here. And this is a piece I started working on, not with it, but it's about are we and where we're going. And as I'm working on it, but it says perfect time is your purpose time. I am healthy and wise in every space, in my spirit, body, and soul. The dynamics of who I am is yet untold. From the crown of my head to the middle of my abundant and prosperous and great depth with joy and life's longevity. I am at peace with a smile on my face, grace in my pace, and pride in my stride. I am authentically me. Carolyn, Joe, and I go out there. It's your power. Do something with it. It's be intentional. Go on, do something with it. Of Indira. You are worthy. All right. All right. Tonight we are so glad that you're here. At 6:30, we'll be back with more great stuff, more conversations. And then don't forget, drop in the chat how are you feeling? Who are you? Where you want to go? How are you going to get there? Remember, the change starts in you. Change starts in your home. Fix that. Fix your family. Do what we got to do. Fix your families so we can fix our communities. Let's do that, you all. Let's do it. We're going somewhere. We're going to be somewhere. I'm Carolyn Jones, 10th of Lifetime Coaching, Conversations with Carolyn. My cash app, it's $, Carolyn M. Jones. Carolyn M. Jones. Truly appreciate your support. We'll see you next Wednesday. You know what Maya Angelou says. If you're always trying to be normal, you'll never know just how amazing you can be. All right, you know what I always do? I say move forward with confidence. It's been a good one. You are valuable.